Welcome back to Stoner Drive. I'm your host, Shagwhelin Bullock, or you guys can call me Shaggy. I am so excited for the show today. I am still living off the vibes and the energy from our show last night at Cannabis Synergy. If you haven't heard about Cannabis Synergy, we put on a live audience cannabis show on the last Friday of every month. It was such a great, this has only been our third show, but it is crazy how big we are getting, how much things we are twisting. I mean, if you come to San Diego, you must catch a Cannabis Synergy show, because it is just so, it's building a community. We are showing that San Diego needs to be on the map for cannabis. And so thank you for all the sponsors, Green Believers. We had this artist, Eugene Curelap, or you can find him on Instagram at Eugene Music, and the guy is phenomenal. He plays good acoustic guitar. He came from Russia, then went to Israel, then lived in Canada. The guy's just got a story of a life and phenomenal musician. So listen after my podcast and you'll catch one of his original songs. I'll play it for you guys. But just the vibes of last night got me so motivated and so hyped, and I was just so excited to shoot this podcast today. Also, if you do live in San Diego, this Saturday, a week from today, March 7th, we will be having Pause for the Cause, which is a dog adoption and campus education event. We're at Courtyard. It's in downtown San Diego, 1301 Market Street. This is something me and a few cannabis companies around California or around SoCal have put together. We'll have 10 dogs to be adopted. We're going to have harpists play music. We're going to have some artists there. You're going to be able to ask any questions you have about cannabis. I'll be hosting or the MC. If I can't answer your question, a vendor will be able to. So it's free to come out to. We're trying to raise $2,000 for Tragic to Magic. They're the ones that are bringing the dogs. And we're also trying to get 10 dogs adopted. So bring your furry friends, or if you don't have a furry friend, come to bring one home. So this week, I don't have any guests. I figured since it's actually been a very new podcast, I figured I'd introduce you guys to myself, or sort of tell you my background story. Get a little more in detail of why I joined cannabis, why I started using cannabis, and why you even listen to me. So, it started in the summer of 1993. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's a little too far back. But I was born in Virginia. And I had a very unique childhood. If you guys can't guess, with the name Shagwhelin, it's a pretty different childhood. I was a home birth. I'd never been to the hospital until this summer for myself. Unfortunately, a broken ankle broke that streak. And then I was raised Wiccan, which a lot of people don't know what Wiccan is. Wiccan is a polytheistic religion, meaning multi-god. With Wiccan, there's pretty much every animal has its own god or goddess, and that you focus on, like winter solstice, summer solstice. You thank Mother Earth for what she's done. Some of you might have heard about warlocks and witches. Well, I wish I was a fucking warlock. That'd be badass, but I want the powers. But really what the witches were just like, it was potions, were herbs. It's eucalyptus, it's lavender, it's things like that. It's using all natural medicines to heal yourself, and it's thanking the earth for what she's given, and it's more like a Native American type connection of a religion, more than like really praying to people above, even though those is more focused around Mother Nature, or the way I was practicing. Unfortunately, when my mom passed away when I was 9 of breast cancer, it was really hard time. And I mean, anybody that's lost a parent knows it gets easier but never gets easy. But my mom, oh my God, my mom was the most incredible woman ever. And I know a lot of people say that, but she was truly unique. She was a massage therapist, and she helped change the laws in Virginia for massage therapy. I remember she would take us to some protests and would be there protesting whatever she believed in. If she believed in something, she was going to fight for it. She helped organize this like co-op group to get organic food from farmers to people in Williamsburg before they really had like vegan and organic and really spots like that at like a U Crops, or before they had really big stores. My mom helped organize that co-op to make sure that friends and family could get healthier foods, so people that were going more natural. And then it was also really cool. She was always willing to help people. Like, it didn't matter who you were. If she was making food, and the whole neighborhood was welcome. Like, if you came into her house, you were family, and you better give her a hug, and she's cooking dinner for you. Like, and I remember she'd even come into my school when I was like third grade and tell stories about fairies and elves and wizards and just incredible things that just gave you imagination. The biggest thing is, and I bring up my mom, is when she was dying of breast cancer, she was consuming cannabis. And at the time, at 9 years old, I didn't really understand what she was doing, but like, I knew it was helping her. And even with our shitty weed back then, like, it wasn't enough. But I feel like if we had the medicine now, then I'm not saying it would beat her cancer. I can't guarantee that. But it would have given her more time, and more time to enjoy the last moments through chemo and through all that bullshit that she had to deal with. So, my mom is the most inspirational person of my life, and throughout this podcast, there will be times that I reference her just to explain why I got into cannabis and why I'm proud of what I do, and that I think she would be proud of what I do. So after losing my mom, it was hard, and I remember one time when I was like 12 or so, some people were babysitting me, and I smoked like half a pack of cigarettes, and the next day it gave me the worst stomach ache. It literally felt like somebody was stabbing me with a knife just over and over again, and so I knew cigarettes were definitely not it. When I was 15, I was hanging out with some friends and picked up a little bit of weed. And so I remember it was funny because at this time, only one of our friends could drive. And so there's about 5 of us, 6 of us that pile up into a car. And so one person always had to be in the trunk of the car. And so we put like blankets and pillows and stuff there. But it's really funny how we used to ride around. So we all pile up in the car. I decide, that's fine. I'll get in the trunk. This time it's my turn. And so we're driving. I don't even know where we're going or what we're really doing. So we're driving, get out. My friend's like, yo, we're buying some weed. I'm like, okay. You know what? I wasn't really that scared. I was like, you know what? I've heard about it, but I was pretty ready to try it out. And so we get some, and then we go to, it's like not Kingsmill. I don't know, some really rich neighborhood in Williamsburg. And we go to like the golf course, and we're like sitting in a spot where nobody can really see us from the neighborhoods. And so we pack up a Gatorade bottle bong, like, one of those old school, you have like one glass tube and you just cut a hole in the Gatorade and you just pop in. So really ghetto, but everybody's first time usually is. So we smoke and everything, and for all those people that say they don't get high their first time, I call bullshit. That shit, I didn't know I was high, and I think that's why people don't think they get stoned, is because you don't know what you're experiencing, really. You're just sort of out of it. So people are like, I'm not high, and then they're giggling for like 20 minutes. Like, yeah, you're pretty stoned. But where I knew it is once we were done smoking, we had those like big tub of cheese balls, those like 10-gallon things or whatever, the 5-gallon, just a big tub of cheese balls. And I mean, I'm eating these while we're smoking the whole time. And then we go and we're dropping all our friends off. And my friend who bought the cheese balls, he's the last one. He gets out and he's like, "Oh, dude, I forgot my cheese balls." And goes to reach in, and I just throw my body over these. And I'm like, "You can have some, but you are not taking these away." And they just fucking laugh. They're like, "Oh, all right, I know that feeling." And I ate that whole fucking thing of cheese balls. Maybe some other people picked a little bit here or there, but I had the munchies. That shit. Oh, those cheese balls were so good though. But that's when I knew, I was like, cannabis is for me. And so throughout my years, I was like smoking here or there on weekends. And I knew it was just like helping me relax and cope and sleep. And then when I got to college, I was actually doing Air Force ROTC. And I know, shocking, right? Being fucking in Air Force and now in the cannabis industry. Completely different lifestyles. But my freshman year at James Madison, or JMU, go Dukes, I was in Air Force ROTC, so I couldn't smoke for that year. And so, like, during exams and stuff, I would buy a pack of American Spirit cigarettes, smoke like 3, and then just give them away. And that was only when I was like super stressed and I could not smoke weed. At the end of my freshman year, this is just like 2012, 2013, there was a big, massive military budget cut. And so for people that don't know, when you're in ROTC, you're not competing against the people at your school or even your state. You're competing against everybody in the whole country. And so it went from 1,900 slots down to 1,000 slots, so almost in half. And so I would have had to change my major from a non-technical major to a technical major, meaning like going to like math, science, something like that. And I would have had to redo some of my freshman year. And so I was just thinking over the summer, I was like, you know what? I don't want to put myself in debt because the only reason I'm in college anyways is to be a pilot in the Air Force. I just want to travel the world. I want to see the world, not like fighter jets and stuff, but like the big cargo planes. And so with these military budget cuts and everything, I realized I don't want to do all these chances just for my senior year. I might not get in or something might happen. I might drop down to more slots or less slots. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat this year as a loss. I'm going to find out what I'm truly passionate about. And so I stayed up at JMU for another 2 years just working, but wasn't really doing anything. And then I decided that it was Virginia that was like poisoning me almost. That staying so close to home gave me that safety net, and I couldn't truly figure out who I wanted to be, even though I was only a few hours away. So I realized I needed to move out of the state, but I also realized I didn't have the money to do that yet. And so I did move back home for about a year and a half. During that year and a half, I tried to do motorcycle mechanics. Of one summer, I worked with this guy. He's absolute genius in his work. He had multiple records for drag races. He would build the bikes. His brother would race them. Probably some of those have been broken now, but he had probably 27 records at the point I was working with him. So, really genius guy, asshole to work for. Not good with people. Like a lot of geniuses, they're good at their work, but they're not good at teaching other people. So I decided motorcycle mechanic wasn't for me. And during the summer when I'm smoking, or back living at home, I'm smoking weed, and I told my dad up front that I smoke cannabis and I didn't want to hide it. And he was cool with it. Because I knew he smoked here, and I also knew that my mom had smoked. Like at this point, I knew that what they were smoking was cannabis. And we had a few conversations about it, but he didn't want me smoking like in high school, obviously, being responsible. And so